Alright, we're in business. Well, let me check if it's fully recorded. It's going. So I'm here with my grandpa, the man who got his got a tattoo on the farm field.
How'd you know about that?
You've told me about that multiple times.
Getting a tattoo when I was about 14 or so.
A tattoo of a line.
Of a what?
Well, it's a line because you were gonna get DP for Grandma's name, Doris Parsons.
Yeah, and I got kind of dizzy. I was about 14, and the guy that gave it was about 16. He was a nutcase. Well, not a nutcase. He was just typical teenager. You know, and
How many tattoos had he given before?
none.
None. You were his first?
It's still there, as far as I know.
Yeah, it is still there. I've seen it. I saw it like a month ago.
I don't go around showing it to people. It's just, I think it's way up here.
It's just a lie.
That's when I had.
It's kind of faded. It's not. You can tell it's not as good as like tattoos nowadays.
Well, we were standing out in the middle of the field. He had ink and a needle. That's what
He was just stabbing you?
Yeah, he just put a little ink on the arm, you know, and do that.
So why did you only get the line? Why did you not finish the D?
I got sick.
What do you mean sick?
Kind of dizzy a little bit.
And you just said no, I'm done.
Yeah, I just said quit, stop, you know, because.
So was that like temporary, or like were you sick for like a?
Well, I think I came to my senses. When you're 14, you don't have a brain, you know, so it took a few pokes with a needle. I was.
So you're like, this girl's not worth it.
I was not a dumb kid, you know. I've always been pretty smart. When I was growing up, all my classmates, all they'd ever say was, you're really smart, but you have no common sense. I've been told that by all my childhood. I never thought I was this smart myself.
I think you're smart. You're definitely smart. There's no question that you're smart, but the common sense. I mean, you are ditzy at times, but I wouldn't say you like don't have any common sense. I think you have a decent amount.
Well, I've read so much in the past, mostly about history, but a lot of stuff. And you do learn a lot of stuff watching television if you know if you understand what
the right television, yeah.
Yeah, if you understand what they're talking about over a period of time, you learn a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I would agree.
A lot of stuff that you learn, nobody cares about. So, but when it does come up, you know, you can, like your friends, I could nail them to the wall. Not being mean about it, but I could just start asking questions. What do you know about this?
Right,
they don't know the answers.
Well, I mean, you got experience. I mean, you've lived more than 3 times as long as I've lived. I mean, I'm 21.
Yeah.
How old are you? 73.
73. You know, that's 3.5 times as old as you are.
And I mean, the first 15 years, I mean, even really, you could argue 20 years of my life are really just spent like figuring out this world. Now I really don't think I've started to think like analytically and like with a lot of reasoning until probably like a year or 2 ago. I mean, yeah, like a little bit when I was my teen years, but I don't think I've really started to think for myself until probably the past 2-3 years.
Yeah, and as you get older, probably between now and 30, like 9 more years, 9 years from now, you will know about, off the cuff, maybe 100 times more than you know now.
I believe it, because I mean, your frontal cortex isn't even fully developed until you're 25.
32.
I heard 25.
Well, I'm talking about your brain. Your total brain is for most people it's around 32.
Really? Okay.
In my opinion, that's why you shouldn't be able to vote when you're 20, when you're 18. You don't know anything. I'm talking about. I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
but the turnout rates are pretty low.
You're not. It's not that you don't know anything. You have a negative knowledge because you think you know stuff, but you don't.
It's like ignorant knowledge.
You can't help it. When you hear somebody say something, if it's a friend, and you like them and you trust what they're saying, or then you have a tendency to say, "Yeah, you're right," and you won't really know until you get in your 30s how stupid you were when you were 20.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I get stupid. When I do my Twitters, I'm always calling the liberals stupid.
I've seen your tweets, by the way.
You
Your
can
tweets
look
are
at it.
hilarious. Your tweets are awesome.
I mean, it's always stupid liberals, you know.
Well, how long have you had Twitter for?
About 4 months or so on Twitter.
You have over 1,000 tweets already. I don't know if you know that. We were looking at your Twitter the other day. Me, Milena, and Mom.
Really?
And, yeah, the three of us were looking at your Twitter.
Somebody else told me. I think Brennan told me. He
What's your name? Bada Bing, Bada Boom?
I didn't know how to make a name. So I stole one from this girl. It's a woman. A woman that's on radio, and she's on TV quite often. I was gonna Twitter to her, or tweet, or whatever you call it, to her, because I used to listen to her on the radio when she lived in St. Louis. And next thing I know, I stole her. It was her. She was Bada Bing, Bada Boom.
Mm-hmm.
A woman. She's about 37, 38 years old.
That's her stage name or her radio name?
No, it's just you give yourself a name, I guess, don't you, on Twitter?
Yeah, yeah.
You go with your email address. That's what's on there.
Right.
But then your name, everybody has a name. Most of them use their own name, but I didn't know how to do it. A lot of stuff I still don't know. I don't know how to put a picture on there.
Are you still an egg?
Still what?
The egg?
What's egg?
It's like the egg, like your profile picture on there. Whenever you don't have a picture, you're just an egg.
Oh, an egg. E-G-G.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, an egg. An egg.
It's like a little Easter egg kind of deal.
Because I don't know how to put something there. And if I can go back 20 years, I can find a picture of myself and Grandma. Really nice picture of both of us. We had it made at a church because they created a book for everybody, all the people that were in that church.
That's cool.
The Baptist church, we don't go to it anymore, but it's probably the best picture we've ever had made together.
Get it framed?
Outside of high school.
Get it framed somewhere.
I'm not sure I could find it. We used to have it here.
Looking around here, you guys don't have any pictures of yourselves. You just have pictures of all the grandkids.
Well, Grandma does not like to have her picture made. She goes nuts.
Yeah, no, I brought up doing a podcast with her, and she said she didn't really want to. She didn't want to be on video.
No, she was not on video. If she goes out to Lowe's or something like that, she'll go take a shower and look real nice. Take her an hour to get ready to go to Lowe's for 10 minutes. Go over there and get.
Well, that's just her female conditioning.
I guess it probably is. Does your mother do that?
No. I mean, so the other day we were moving from my apartment, out of my apartment into my new house, and obviously both of us looked disgusting. Like we were sweating all day, didn't really shower. We kind of just woke up and.
See, if Grandma had gone.
She would have had to shower.
Oh, she'd have to shower and as far as her helping you in 85-degree weather, I don't see her getting all sweaty and yucky.
But yeah.
She looks nice, almost. If she's going somewhere.
See, that's where my mom and my grandma are different. That's where those two are different.
Yeah.
Your daughter, yeah, that's where they're.
I think Darcy's always been that way.
It's probably just brought up that way, maybe.
When we were in high school, girls didn't wear blue jeans. They wore dresses. So if you had to picture
Different
a
time.
girl in a dress, I think she only maybe had 2 dresses. And her mother probably sewed those together, or somehow got them a dress. They were really poor.
So how did that work? How did that, like, you had to do laundry every single day then?
When?
With dresses? If you had 2 dresses and you switched off, so I'm assuming.
Oh, what do you mean laundry? You don't have laundry.
How'd you clean the clothes?
You really want to know?
Yes.
Well, to you, you would think you were in the 1930s, because in the 1950s, they probably were still using stuff from the 1930s and 40s.
Right.
And it's a well, you just get a tub, put water in it, and actually, I don't even know. Because back in those days, you had women and you had men. Women did almost everything. Men worked.
Yeah, gender roles were very specific.
Oh yeah, but my dad he died when he was 64. I doubt if he ever cooked a meal in his whole life. I mean, it's not. My mother did everything. Plus, she worked 10 hours in the field. My dad would work from about 6 to 6. I guess he came in for lunch if he was close enough. He'd be someplace driving a tractor. He's on a farmer, just like Paul. If you ever went out there when Paul was working through the harvest season, you know,
yeah, fair amount.
He'd be there.
Well, hey, my grandpa. I mean, I remember going over to the farm and seeing those 2 working and stuff. And I always admired my grandpa for still working, especially like. I mean, he was your age now. Whenever I was younger, like whenever I was, I don't know, probably 8 or 9-ish.
We
had
had
70-year-old man's walking around.
My dad was they call it a sharecropper, and we had 40 acres of cotton. So we had they had machines. Well, actually, we picked cotton. Later on, they got cotton picker machines, cotton picking machines. And he'd drive the tractor, or the whatever the thing was. It's kind of like a combine. It had about 1/5 as big as the combines and things.
Right. Yeah, I mean the equipment
those
nowadays
things are huge.
It's
Like
huge.
they make $100,000, you know. But these things were just a tractor and a big basket. And when I was about 8, I had to work in that basket. And they would drive through the cotton fields, and the cotton would go flying back on from both sides of the thing. And when the basket was empty, you could just sit there. But when it started getting the basket started getting fuller, you literally had to dive from one way to the other side, because otherwise, I mean, it's like every 5 seconds we were on one side. You had to dig cotton out, because if you didn't, it kept coming through these, I don't know what they're called, and they're in an opening like this, and it was coming into the basket, and you couldn't let it go back up in there, you know what I mean? You had to keep it pulled away from the basket. If it went back in there, you stop it all up.
Okay.
So literally, you were diving. I was diving from one side to the other for probably 15 minutes. You know, you just sit there and do nothing till the basket got full, and then you're diving back and forth, you know, digging it, hurry up and get it down. I don't want it to, because my dad was usually the one that was driving the thing, you know. I don't know what he would do. He'd really be mad, because he'd have to stop.
Farming's hard labor for sure.
You know. But anyway, $3 for 15 hours maybe. And that'd buy my lunch.
That's crazy. But how much was lunch?
$5 for 5 cents for a hamburger. You probably eat about 3 of them, because it's really hard work.
Right. Yeah.
So you can buy 3
cents.
hamburgers and a soda for, I don't know, 75 cents, maybe 80 cents. But still, you get paid $3.
Yeah, I mean that's almost a third of your
Yeah.
check. Yeah, for a full
I mean,
day
I
of
did it
work.
because I didn't have a choice.
Right,
But later
right.
on, when I got a little older, about 8, they put me in the fields and I started picking cotton. You had to pick it out, pull it from the cotton bolls. It was shaped like this, and the white cotton would be inside there, and you'd have to just take it and put it in a big long, call it a cotton sack. It was just a big long thing. You know, you put the cotton in the top, and then you get about 75 pounds, literally, in there.
That's probably so
And
much.
then you had to put it on your back.
I just imagine the volume of that. It probably.
Yeah. When you finish, you're 8 years old, you got to put it on your back and walk maybe 100
Wait. So you can fit 75 pounds worth of cotton, like, compact into one sack on your back? I mean, because that can kind of...
That may be wrong about that.
Right,
But you could get a lot. Cotton didn't weigh anything.
right.
I mean, my goodness, you just put it here. If you had it all around here and you got it on the scale, it might weigh a pound. You know, if you had this all you could hold in your arms.
True,
Well, we
yeah.
got lucky when it rained because it had water on it and it weighed a lot more. Because you take it up and they put it on a scale and you'd say, oh, you know, 50 pounds, 55 pounds, whatever. And they'd write it down and you get $3 for 100 pounds of cotton. And I picked 300 pounds a day. I was one of the few people anywhere that could do that.
Alright, let me ask you this. Did the thought ever come to your mind, you're like, wow, I wish we had slaves?
We were the slaves. We were.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just joking.
My father was, he was a sharecropper. Her father didn't have any cotton.
Uh-huh.
They were poor. Her dad would work 18 hours and make $7.
Wow.
But see, at the end, when we started taking cotton to the gin, we get a bunch of money.
Didn't you get your hands stuck in a cotton gin once?
Almost lost this one. Doctor told me I was 18 when this happened. I was a senior in high school.
But is it...
But you should be able. Normally, you can touch here down to here. So, you know, most people can do that.
Uh-huh.
Right now, my hand's a little swollen, but here.
Right.
And
Let's show the camera. Show
see
the camera.
You see the fingers there? That finger's missing.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's been an accident. I might have been 19. When I was in high school, September, we started in August.
Yeah, it's not much, yeah.
We just cut it off. And this one, I don't know if you can see the scars, but they had to make a scar on all these.
Let me see that.
I was trying to save the guy's life. That's what happened. His whole body,
You noble hero,
everything.
you.
See, he climbed. He went way up in the air on a ladder. It's almost like your grandpa's ladder. The ladder. Were you there when we took the ladder up there? Or was that somebody was there? Maybe it was Milena. Somebody was there. It took me up there. You know, I followed them way up there, and what am I missing? Where was I?
Cotton gin.
Oh yeah, the cotton gin. He had to unstop some stuff way up high.
Right.
And he got up there and he grabbed his shirt like this. You know what a cog is? It's a round thing like this. That's, I don't know if I can. Anyway, there's a chain that goes through this, and it was like this, and the chain would go like this. I can't really. You can't do it with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, they had a cotton gin that had things going everywhere. You know. Anyway, he went up there to work, to unclog some things that were stopped up, and it grabbed his like this, and it was jerking him all over. He was way up high. Like that, so I didn't know.
It just looks like he's like having a
I was
seizure, or
18.
like.
I was 18, and I thought, I've got to get him down. So I climbed up there, and I grabbed him like this, and that chain grabbed my fingers, and it went through these cotton. I could probably draw you one like this,
Right.
and it had metal like this. And then when it went through the chains had. I almost had to draw a picture, but anyway, it took my fingers and put them all through this thing and just squeezed the crap out of them.
Ugh.
I went through it. It grabbed the
Wait,
chain.
so like your body's, yeah, okay.
And it came out to the end. You know, they had a chain going like this. It come across here, and there was a thing here that made it ran all the time. So it made the chain keep coming. And all those chains and everything, is what made the cotton gin the cotton. You gin cotton until you get the seeds out of the cotton.
And how old were you when this happened?
I was probably just turning 19.
19, okay.
Because I was, in high school I was 18, and then September 29th.
And this is before you joined the military?
Oh yeah. I was in high school.
Okay.
Joined the military.
Well, you maybe 18 then, but yeah, I get, yeah.
I was 18 when I started. My senior year was 18.
Okay.
Two months later was 19.
Right. Okay.
And that's the period. September is the period where they harvest all the cotton, and that's when I went and worked 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, unless it rained.
Sounds terrible.
You believe that? 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 6 weeks. And granted, I had a stack of money this high. You get, I think I got
$3 a day.
I think I got $1 an hour. But if you make $18 a day for 6 weeks, we may have got Sunday off. I don't think so though. But it did rain every once in a while, and it just.
That's also going off memory though. I've noticed a trend with you that not just you, but a lot of people in general. It seems that you tend to remember things as like the worst case scenario. You know, remember it worse than it actually was, kind of.
Well, as far as my hand is concerned, that's not the case.
You got a good argument
Because
there.
I'm 19, and I'm barely 19, and I go to the hospital. I never had been in a hospital before. I doubt if I've ever even been inside a hospital. Next thing I knew, I was in bed. And I was in that bed a long time.
Yeah.
And he told me he literally saved this one. The whole thing was going to come off. This top half of this middle finger, you know.
How are you going to flip anybody off?
That'd be tough. I'd do it on this. I'd go. But back then, if you had $100, I mean, you could go to Siri and say, "What's $100 in 1962 worth today?"
Right.
You'd be shocked.
I mean, it's.
My dad was poor today.
Seems like the inflation rate's just been exponential from.
Yeah.
I mean, just your lifetime. I wonder if it's gonna stay that steady. Like.
Let me see if I can ask it. What would you say?
Conversion rate.
How much is $3,000 in 19?
Here's what I got.
You can't do it. You can't talk fast enough. Siri.
I know. Yeah, I was actually trying that on the way down here.
1962, $3,000. How much is it worth today?
You kind of sound
Here's
like
what I
the mail
found on the web for $19.60 minus $3,000. How much is it worth today?
$19.60. I said 1962, but like I said,
You said 1960.
you saw
Yeah.
for 1/10 of a second, and she comes in.
Right,
I don't know if you can change that, you know, for older people that actually. Grandma didn't even use this.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that, I know she had never used Siri.
Yeah, I've never heard her use it before.
She might say, you know, something like, "Take me to the nearest whatever. You know, she might do some of that.
For like
But as
convenient
far
purposes.
as getting knowledge, she doesn't want any knowledge.
Right.
I mean, she's satisfied with if it's today, she knows everything about real estate.
Well, I would say that's a big difference between you and her.
Is that a man-woman thing?
No, I just think it's a curious mind versus you're a very curious person. You're very, even at your age, which is really hopeful for me, I guess, because I'm kind of the same way. I'm pretty curious.
The people I play golf with are 3 years older than I am. 3.5 maybe. And Mick Shannon, you met him the other day. Now, Mick Shannon is on the... I was telling him I had one of these, and I named him as co-conspirator or whatever, you know. He doesn't want to know anything.
He really, like, ignorance is bliss kind of deal?
I mean, if it's... He watches stuff that I do.
Right.
He gets all mixed up with stuff, you know. That's kind of come on in the last 2 or 3 years, you know. So if you tell him something, you might have to explain it for 15 minutes. But he wants to know what you said. But as far as doing research on something, anytime, I don't think he'd ever. Most people that way though. They don't care, you know. If it ain't me, it ain't a grandma. It's not a flaw. I'm not fussing at her, you know.
But
that's who she is. If it's not me right now, me or my kids, okay. Me and my kids, my grandkids, you know.
Right.
Me or my family, right now, I don't want to hear it. So when I go in there and tell her some esoteric kind of crap, you know.
I like those. I like those esoteric, abstract kind of thoughts, you know, because I think I consider myself pretty creative, and I think as a creative thinker that you need those thoughts, you know. You need to explore the...
But you and I talk about brain a lot. You have absolutely no control over whether you care about something, whether you're curious. You have no control over that, I don't think.
I think you do. I think it's a desire thing.
Your mother's the same way. She's
I like to think things through out of to like the root of that desire, if that makes sense.
If I bring up something to you that you never heard of, and you're probably not interested in it, you are still a little bit interested. You'll listen, and then you know you usually ask questions if it's not. But most people you know. And your family?
Well, most people in general just aren't good listeners. I mean,
no.
I don't feel like I'm being listened to a lot with most people. Actually, you'd appreciate this. My dad today, he walked in the room and what did he say? I was complaining about something, and because you know how I am, I'm having a difficult time going through college right now, and I'm not enjoying it, and I was like. And I brought up, I'm like, Dad, I just don't know about college. I'm not enjoying it. And, he walked in and just, as soon as, anytime I, would, start talking, he just walks away. He was unable to listen. I go, Dad, you are unable to listen. You're unable to, have any empathy. I'm like, just listen to what I'm saying.
That's his brain. That's his brain. If you talk to your dad, and I try not to talk to him. I try not to talk to him ever.
Why?
Because he's real comfortable when he's talking about somebody that you know absolutely nothing
he'll
about.
just go on rants about things that...
He'll name their names. Yeah, old Bill, you know, he did this, and went on and looked at Sam over there in the corner, and they talked about this and that, and I'm going, I don't know Bill, I don't know Sam, I don't know who you're talking about, I don't know what you're talking about. But I listen to him, and when he gets a phone call, that's when I leave.
Yeah.
Every time I go to one of those volleyball tournaments, one way or other, sooner or later, he'll be talking to me, I'm talking to him. But he's always getting these phone calls. So all I have to do is just wait.
Just wait.
And he talks for a long time. You know him. There's no such thing as a 1 minute conversation on the phone. So yeah, I could just oh my gosh, I gotta go over this and talk to that guy, or
And-
whatever,
and-
just walk away.
There are, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of things I admire about my dad. I mean,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a great guy. He's a gift. Like, actually, I probably don't tell him this enough, but I think he has a gift of just, he's so positive all the time. Yeah, I love that about my
I don't
dad.
know.
I love that.
But it comes across to me anyway as naive.
What do you mean by that? I actually don't know the definition of that word.
Naive,
Yeah.
clueless.
Clues. Yeah, I would agree.
Just if literally, I think that Nancy or somebody in his family could walk up to him, and if Benny had $1,000 laying there, they could take it, leave, and he would come up with something positive about it, and he won't try to get it back.
I do think that, yeah, he hasn't found the balance of he needs to kind of take out some of that it's
Now,
almost
your dad
like
your dad
not-
might be seeing this one of these days on the
Well, yeah.
TV screen.
It's like a naive, like benevolent, almost childish, in a good way though, in a good way, positive attitude. But he hasn't really found the balance. He's very extreme on that end, and whenever you have extremes in anything, a lot of positives come out of that. But too much of one thing is not good. He hasn't found the balance. He needs to be more assertive in situations like that.
It's really a good thing to be positive, but you can't ignore reality.
Absolutely.
He does.
To an extent.
I think he.
I think he deals with it in a different way, though, too.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, he's your father. I don't see much of him. When the other night when he came here, Darcy were here. I tried to be part of the conversation. Were you here? You weren't here, were you? Rhonda? Oh, wait a minute.
Probably not.
It was Benny, me, and Melena was laying on the couch.
Okay.
I was sitting in my chair. Oh my gosh. Some medicine I'm taking in a few minutes. I was here and I thought, okay, we got everybody here. Melena's just gonna lay there, you know, and take it all in. She was really tired. There's 3 adults, so I thought, okay, I'm part of the conversation. No way. No way.
But
I'd butt in, you know, and I'd talk really loud, otherwise they'd just keep talking to each other. So I finally realized I'm not in this room.
I think you're the type of person that you, at least this is my opinion of you, that you thrive in a one-on-one, like how we are now. But like in a even like 3 people get in, if somebody's more kind of like upbeat, more gregarious than you are, then it kind of, I don't like, you kind of get, you don't really, it's not like you feel inferior, but like you kind of back down, because that's just not your role. Like, I don't know, you just seem like somebody who thrives more. And
what I do is, I don't know if I've always been this way, but when I talk, I expect people to listen, and listen a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's
a fair
I don't
expectation.
give a lot of diatribes of non-stop. You know, I'm not even down, but we're doing this. But if there's people in the room, I think I'm part of the people here, but I'm really not, because they don't ever, they keep their conversation going. I don't care who it is, if it's Doris and Keela, and me in the room. They both look at each other. They never look at me.
So would you say that that expectation of being listened to doesn't get met, and like consistently? I would agree.
Zero.
For me.
I think
Yeah.
zero.
So okay, so let's say 1% it gets met, because I mean it has to get met to some degree. But and I would agree. I don't think people. I think whenever the older you get, it seems like people kind of seem to overlook you in some ways. It's like the crazy old man or something, you know.
I think that when you get old, people won't listen to you. But then I see that they listen to Doris, and I'm thinking, oh, well, she's on their level, or they're talking about something like Keela, Doris, 2 women talking,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to fit in. Well, you don't fit in. I'm a man. I'm not two women talking about the kids or whatever this and I know you know what I'm talking about. Two girls are talking. You walk in on them. They probably won't pay attention to you.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the context too.
But if they're really caught up in the conversation that you're not
Oh
part
yeah,
of,
yeah. Then I would, yeah.
and you try to become part of it, chances are you can get
Well,
up and leave.
that's with anybody. I don't really think it's a gender thing. I think it's two people are really connecting, and then somebody else walks in, and they're kind of out of context. Majority of the time, people are going to continue what they're
Well, what
talking
you're talking
about.
about is non-family. I'm talking about family.
Okay.
I mean, when we have Christmas, New Year, all the holidays when we get together about 4 or 5 times a year, there's 15 or 20 people in here. Well, you know, there might be 30 people. Like Mason, everybody went to Mason's house
Right.
when he graduated. There was probably, good grace, 50 people there maybe, or
Yeah, I'd
more
say
than
it's spread
that.
out throughout the
And
throughout
they
the
were
house.
everywhere. You know, the Lowrys, our whole family, the Lowrys, and then all his friends. People I had no clue who they were, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And but somewhere along the line there, you think that here's a group that I would fit into. But if they're strangers, you know, I'm okay with it, because I can talk to them, they'll talk to me, and you know, we can talk.
Mm-hmm.
If it's family, no.
You think they overlook you, or they don't listen, or what do you mean?
A lot of times, since I don't really have a thought process that's interested in only one little tiny thing, I might bring up something that's really not, they're not interested in. It's come down the mouth, I don't know. So, probably almost like I can't settle down on one little thought process. You know, they're talking about one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows what I might say, you know. But like when Benny was here the other night, after about halfway here, they stayed probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed out and didn't say a word the rest of the time. After about halfway through, so I was trying to talk for about maybe 20, 30 minutes, and then I realized, because they were talking about the money,
Right.
the family stuff, you know, all that stuff was, what's her name came to here, this house.
Yeah.
Judy, do you know about Judy coming here?
Yeah.
She came over here I made copies for probably an hour, walking back and forth in there.
Oh, really?
And it had all that money stuff on it, you know, and I just kind of, what is this? There's an account that Paul had. There's another one, there's another one. You got $400,000 here, and you got $50,000 there, you know, and I thought, and that's the money, I think, that they're trying to figure out who's going to get what, you know?
Yeah.
You might have got some lately. I mean, that's kind of what Belanda's getting a car. I know she's got to have some money someplace.
I'm getting the option of a car, money. Yeah.
I mean, you mean that Paul's black car?
No, like it's well, basically what it came down to is I could get a nice car, or I could keep the car I have, and I'm pretty much deciding or keep the car I have and then get money on top of that. And I'm getting, I'd say money, because I want to pay off my student debts. Like, I want my student debts paid off by 25. I know that sounds crazy, but no, they're going to be paid off by 25.
Most people pay it for 20 years.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be that. Like, that thought just kills me. Oh, like if I'm paying off my student debts in like 40 years, no, that's not me.
I used to work with a guy. He was 32 years old. He came to work one day and he says, "Today is the day." And I thought, what, you getting a little sex or something tonight? What do you mean today's the day, you know? He was really excited, and I don't know, I might have been in the 40s then, you know, I don't know.
And he's paying off his student debts then?
He said, I said, what's going on? And he says, I'm making the last payment today. He was 32, college. So he get out of college when he was 22, so he must have had a 10-year loan.
Wow.
He must have had a 10-year loan.
Right.
I think some people get 20s. I mean, if you look at these Ivy League schools, they cost $60 grand a year. You know. Well, maybe you're only paying 40 out of the 60. You know. Taxpayers are paying the rest of it. You know, if you get this Ivy League education. Boy, if I was in Congress, I'd get that crap out of there in New York a minute. You know. You don't have to go to 60. You don't have to go to Harvard. I mean, give me a break. I used to work with some people that went to Yale. I interviewed a guy, graduated from Yale. At the time, I didn't even have a college degree. I was the manager. I was only like 25 or 26, you know, and I was in charge of all these people. He came in there, and he had graduated from Yale. He had a stupid bow tie on. And I think he might have had a hat, but he took it off.
And don't diss on bow ties. Bow ties are cool.
The guy was about 3 years younger than I was.
Uh-huh.
And he was scared to death of me. And he went to Yale, and I said, well, I gave him, you know, I said, do you know anything about this? The computer programming job, what it was. No. Do you know anything about this? No. Yeah, he had a degree. He had an IT degree.
But I went to Yale.
He had an IT degree from Yale. 2 computer languages we used at the time. He didn't know anything about either one of them. You know, it was COBOL. I don't know if you ever heard the word COBOL. It's an acronym for Common Art, you know, COBOL, assembler language. All these things were computer languages back then. They still have them now. They just shadow them somehow. But they're not 2 that everybody in the world used. And after graduating from Yale, he didn't have either one of those.
And what was his degree in?
IT, computers.
Really?
You know what IT means? Well, your friend's good. Your friend's got
Institute Technology. That's my final guess. Is that right?
The T is technology. Information technologies.
Information technology.
Information IT. Information technology. I don't know if they still call it today the same thing. Well, your friend, didn't he say he's got an IT degree?
Yeah. He's really good too.
He'll make a lot of money.
And he made an app.
He'll make a lot of money. He'll know about apps, and so you can do this crap on the side, you know. And if something comes of it, fine. If not, you just do it for a hobby or whatever, you know. Melania took an apps thing in high school. She was creating an app one time. She was here trying to create it, and I showed her how to do it.
That's pretty cool.
I looked at what she was doing, and I said, that's the same thing that I learned to do as an IT guy, you know?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
In high school.
Yeah, and she was in high school. I guess what she was...
Well, they have a high school class now about 3D printing. You can make anything you want with these 3D printers. I don't know much about them, but they're pretty insane. Like there's actually a big issue. You can print off guns. You can print off guns.
You could create a gun.
Yeah.
And a printer.
A 3D printer.
A long time ago, I heard somebody say that you could make a car.
Yeah,
I think they probably make car parts. I mean.
Probably individual parts put together. I don't know how it works.
Printer, you know.
I don't know how these work. Yeah.
I like to see a printer to get all that metal.
Yeah.
How does the metal? How does a big old piece of a car like this? You know, fender.
This sounds like the most insane breakthrough of our time, but this sounds very comparable to the internet. But I know nothing about 3D printing. Or very little.
I don't know. Your friend might be able to explain it to you one of these days.
I don't even know how much he knows about it, to be honest. I mean, he's in programming and whatnot.
It's probably not in his. He probably won't study anything. It sounds almost like a byproduct of your degree. You know, you probably had to. You know, even in today's world, I bet that's too complicated to just say, okay, you take one course in that, you know, and you know how to do it.
But
I mean, I couldn't imagine. It's all computerized. I mean, all you have to learn is the computer side of it, you don't have to be an engineer, I guess anyway. If you want to create a car, parts for a car, I really have to see that to believe it. 'Cause to me, a printer is for paper, you know. I mean, it's a printer.
Would you saw like a YouTube video or something up there? Would you believe it? I'm just curious how it works.
Well, the printer that I think of is a printer. It has paper that goes through it. Now, I'm sure I wouldn't call it a printer if I had this big machine, you know, that could create that could make a part for a car.
Right.
It's got to be as big as this. It's got to be at least as big as that thing right there, you know. I'm losing the word. The fireplace. Right over there. I'm getting aware of this. I can't. The other day I was trying to figure Richard Nixon, you know, somebody was talking about something and it never came to me.
No, that was me.
No, I was here by myself.
Oh, really?
And I was wondering if Richard Nixon got. Oh, I know. They were arguing about. Somebody came out and said Richard Nixon got impeached. And then somebody said this person has no clue what they're talking about. Richard Nixon did not get impeached.
Has any president ever been impeached?
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton was, really?
He was impeached, but then there's an impeachment process. They impeach you, and then you go, I guess, to the judges or whatever, and they kicked it out. They won't. People now are saying they want Trump impeached. He hasn't done anything to be impeached about. They're just stupid. You know, somebody put on Twitter the other day, nepotism. You know what nepotism is?
No.
Nepotism is when you hire your family. You know, if you got a president of the United States, his son-in-law is working for him. So they're called it nepotism, and they want to impeach him for that. So
I don't know if that has enough credibility.
What do you mean?
At all.
You almost have to kill somebody to be impeached.
Right.
If you can't impeach Bill Clinton, in fact, it backfired on the Republicans when they were trying to impeach him. It backfired the other way. As bad as he was, I mean, he raped women all over the country, you know. 4 of them he gave one of them $800,000 to not sue him, not have him put in prison.
Really?
What else happened to him? He lost his law license while he was president. So when he got out, when he wasn't president anymore, he could have gone back to Arkansas and practiced law, but no. He lost his law license because he lied to the grand jury. He did all these things and he didn't get impeached. And now they're talking about impeaching him because he hired his son-in-law, who's evidently one of the smartest guys in the country.
Well, I mean, they're clearly looking for an excuse just to impeach him.
They're just making this stuff up, but the people on Twitter, it's like, I answered for that. You might have seen my part of that. I went back and said, you know what, you're absolutely, I'm not to call them stupid. I try not to call people stupid. I call them liberals, stupid liberals all the time, you know, stupid Democrats. I try not to say that about an individual. But I said, you know, you don't have a clue what you're talking about. You can't impeach somebody for hiring his son-in-law.
Keep in mind, these are individuals' opinions. That's what you said. They're trying to impeach, like the people that were talking about impeaching Trump on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, these are some of these people are like 25-year-olds living in their basement.
Yeah.
No, these are losers.
They see this stuff. I guess when you're young, you're supposed to be, what's the word that everybody uses? It's the opposite of realistic, optimistic or something.
I would just say unrealistic.
No, I mean, it's unrealistic, but it's like most young people are. It's
ignorant.
You think of the best of everything, and naive, I guess is the word. Naive pretty much means you're clueless.
Mm-hmm.
When you're 21, you're supposed to be clueless. When you're 31, you're not supposed to be clueless.
Right.
But these people are. I don't know how old these people are, you know. going on Twitter, you know. The ones I follow, the ones I pay attention to, there's one woman on there that I'm telling you, she knows everything. I've been asking her questions. She couldn't answer one of my questions, but she came back to me.
Who is this on Twitter?
Yeah, her
So,
name
is
is.
she famous?
No, she's just on Twitter. And I started seeing her pop up on mine, and she's she must be retired, because you know you can put your picture on there and also your background. So she was a school teacher and she owned her own business, and it was in past tense. So I'm thinking she's probably a retired school teacher, probably in her 60s maybe, or something like that.
Okay.
I have no clue.
Just
She's
a
on
small
there all
lady,
day and all night, so she doesn't have a job. She's got to be retired or something, you know. But she researched. She's worse than I am about wanting to know everything. I mean, but she's a conservative all the way through, and she nails a lot of people. I put on mine one time. I said, I don't usually put things about myself. People don't care.
Right.
But I put on there that never smoke, never drink. One cuss word when I was 10.
I read this one.
Soap in my mouth for a year. No booze, never booze, no alcohol. Alcohol and booze is the same thing. Drugs, booze, and smoking and cursing.
You've never drank like a beer? Never had even just a beer?
I tasted it one time because the guy just put it in my hand.
Uh-huh.
I didn't want to be rude. He brought me a beer at 9 o'clock in the morning. This fool over in Italy, you know. This guy that
customs.
he was his wife was over there too, so he lived off campus, and he just walked into my apartment one morning, probably a weekend, or no, wait a minute. That was Italy. We did 3 on, 3 on, and 3 off. You know, 3 days you work like daytimes, 7 to 5, 7 to 5, 7 to 5. That's 3 on, and then you get a day off. You come back at 5 o'clock, 5 to midnight, 5 to midnight. 3 of those. Then you take a day off. Then you come back at midnight to 7 to 8 o'clock. So it was called a 3-1, 3-1, 3-3. Then you got 3 days off. So it's like out of 12 days you get 3 days off, and in between that you'd get a day off, but it's 24 hours, so you got to sleep sometimes, you know. So it was kind of weird. And so he came over. He just walked in one morning and had a beer. 9 o'clock in the morning. Number one, I didn't know anybody drink beer ever at 9 in the morning.
College.
he just put it on the.
College sometimes will go there.
I guess I was probably 20 when I actually got to Italy. See, I went from the Air Force to school. Every school I went to, they let me out early. It's like an 8-week class. I went in there, and after 5 weeks, they said, "You know everything there is to know. You go over here." I go over there to another 8-week class. 5 weeks later, it sent me to Italy.
Really?
So I learned Morse code.
In 5 weeks?
In 5 weeks, in the school, this thing. I don't sound like I'm bragging, but for some reason.
No, you're stating facts.
I told you that I was in the top 1/2 of 1% in the entire Air Force.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that till a couple years ago when I looked it up. And I found on the internet exactly what I did. And that's when it said the elite of this, the elite that, at 1/2 of 1% in the Air Force, and I'm thinking, I couldn't have been in that. Those people were really, really smart. Those people, when it came down to it, I was in Italy 6 months. It was an 18-month tour, 1.5 years. 6 months I was on this in the back, stuck me in the back, and I was having this Morse code. Then they said, "We want you to put on this position, the most important position in the entire Air Force, I guess, or in Italy." It was Russia. Russia and the United States had a Cold War going on in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Cold War. So
Cold War lasted 20 years?
Well, I guess, yeah.
Really? Wow.
It was 1965, that's when I was over there, and then Reagan in the 1980s, Ronald Reagan said tear down that wall, but he was talking about East Germany. He said tear down that wall. And what happened to them? They tore it down. When Ronald Reagan spoke, people listened. That's, have you ever seen that?
We'll get back to what you were saying about, yeah.
Yeah. They and I think they're going to do the same thing with Trump. If he says you better get your thing in order, I think they will. The whole world is screwing us over. Obama just took it. You know, just give them all the money you can take. All the Muslim countries, you give $1 billion, $50 billion, $500 billion to all the Muslim countries. And I'm off on politics, and that's not where I want to go. What were we talking about a while ago?
Well, you were saying the Cold War. You were involved in, you said 1965.
1965, I was in Italy for a year and a half, and then I went to Omaha, Nebraska for 2 years. And then I had Vietnam. I was in charge of spying in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Vietnam War, right in the middle of the Vietnam War. I don't know if they had a better thing in that whole group. It was a whole group of people. We had secret, top secret, up to Gazoo, same as Hillary Clinton and all those people have. The President of the United States, I think, had the same security clearance that I had, graduating from Matthews, Missouri, a town that was 450 people in it. When I was in high school, it was 498. A couple years ago, I went down to Matthews, and it was 450. It had the same sign up. We lost 49 people.
That's funny.
48 people, you know, or 38, whatever it was. Same old little town, you know. And they had to go back and talk to my teachers because I didn't have a background.
Right.
You know, I was living on the farm. Here I am, 19, and they're giving me the.
They really went back and talked to your teachers?
I think so.
Really? Wow.
They would, if they did, they probably told them not to tell me, but I heard that that's where they went. Where else would you go to find out if somebody's a good person or ties to Russia? They're always saying about Trump, you know. And I don't really know.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense. That's probably where I would go if
I mean, if you're growing in the city,
we were teachers, but I mean, with me at least, my teachers don't know anything about me. Like, especially in college. College, they definitely know nothing. They don't even know my name.
They don't care.
Oh yeah, they definitely don't. I mean, they're there for a paycheck. That's it. But in high school, I was a completely different person around my teachers than I was around my peers and my buddies and my parents and you guys.
Well,
I wasn't myself. You know, I'm not myself around teachers. That's just who I am. I get really, really reserved whenever teachers are into the equation. Anybody who has authority over me, like meaning a grade, same thing with like soccer coaches and stuff in the past. I've always gotten really, really, really quiet because I'd rather not say anything than say the wrong thing.
Good.
And that's just how I mean, I'm
maturity. That's maturity.
I mean, I've been that since I was like first grade though. Like I remember on my soccer teams, I was known as the quiet kid.
Really?
Yeah. Well, at Dominican at college soccer up in Chicago, the coach told me I was the quietest kid he's ever had in his entire program.
Really?
He coached for like 20 years or something like that. So I was the quietest kid to ever go through that program.
Gosh.
I was like, you don't even know me, man. Like, I was like, it's just whenever somebody he ran the team like a dictator, and he was extremely corrupt. And whenever somebody has control over me like that, and they don't know how to use power, whenever like they don't know how to control, and they abuse their power, then I don't respect them, and I don't have anything to say to those type of people.
Oh, that was, you didn't respect him?
I did not respect that coach at all.
You mean never?
No, I didn't. He was the worst coach I ever had in my entire life. He was. I
Results, didn't he?
say what?
He got results, didn't he? Didn't he win a lot at the end of the season?
Yeah, he won a fair amount, but he also. I mean, there were like 9 or 10 kids. I feel like actually it might have been like 12. Let's just say 10. Let's just say 10. Out of I think it was like 40 or 50 kids quit. He lost a fourth of his team by the end of the season. Like that's just the type of guy he was, and he was used to that. He over recruited. He intentionally brought in more people than he needed, and then
didn't he have 30 kids on that team? Didn't you tell me he had 19 Mexicans or Hispanics, whatever you call them?
yeah, the majority of the team was Hispanic.
I remember you told me once that they'd be in a group, they'd be speaking Spanish, and you couldn't even be part of that group.
And I had reasons to believe when they were speaking Spanish amongst each other that they were making fun of me. So it wasn't a team. It wasn't a team at all. I didn't like that experience.
Were they a lot better than you, or were you?
Actually, what happened was I was depressed. I was extremely sad during the season, and I'm like, this isn't how I want to play. And I knew I wasn't playing up to my full potential. And then there was a week where I was starting to feel myself again. I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
You were young, Jordan. You were young.
Yeah, I was 19.
You barely 19 when that
19,
during
yeah.
that season. You barely turned 19.
Yeah, I turned 19 that exact season. Yeah. It was about 3 years ago. But and I was I started feeling myself again. I'm like, I started feeling like myself as a player, and I was starting to perform like myself, like how I knew like I could perform. And this was actually the week before I quit, and I started doing really well, and I was actually becoming one of the dominant forces on that team. So, in my opinion, I think there were a lot of players better than me there, but whenever I wasn't performing like well, they had like an A team and a B team. Whenever I wasn't performing well, I was one of the best players on the B team, but when I was performing at my best, I could play with anybody on the A team. Or not anybody. There were a fair amount of players better than me, for sure. I mean, I was a freshman.
You expect to have a player when you're a freshman. They're barely 19 years old, and those guys are seniors, juniors.
Yeah.
You know.
Like I would say I would have been. I was at my best. I was probably because the defense was good. The offense was terrible. The offense was easy. I marked them in practice all the time. They never got past me. They weren't very good. They were slow. But anyway, the midfield was decent. They had some good center midfielders, and the defense was all around pretty solid. I think I would have been a good sub for the defense. Like, yeah, because the left wing back was incredible. He's phenomenal. He's a great player, and he was a lot better than me. He was a lot quicker.
Was he senior?
Yeah, he was a senior.
Did you get? Would you have gotten better for the next 2 or 3 years if it stayed there?
You could argue I would have gotten better, but you could also argue that my mental health and my mental well-being, being at that school, and that school being so far from what my blueprint was of how I wanted college to be, you could argue that would have taken a toll on my mental health and that I would have performed lesser than my true potential and gotten worse. Because, I mean, for example, with Mark Rellig, he's a great player. I would say on our high school season, senior year, I would say that he was the best player on our team, and I was the second best player on our team. And I would definitely admit that he was better, but now he still plays college soccer. I'm done. And maybe not now, but like about a year or two ago, I would say that I was better than him because I'm enjoying myself. I've been a lot happier, and he's just miserable playing college soccer, and I think that lack of happiness has taken a lot.
I didn't. From what I heard, I didn't even think he got a money to play.
Yeah, he got money. He's playing at he was playing at Culver Stockton, and then now he's playing at Fontbonne in downtown St.
Oh,
Louis.
he is playing soccer.
Yeah, he's still playing.
Oh.
Good player. Good player. We still play together. I just played with him like 2 days ago. I rolled my ankle. I played with him yesterday. Yeah, I rolled my ankle yesterday morning.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of sprained it. It's not feeling too hot right now.
Indoors or?
Outdoor.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we were just playing with him and with his little brothers and stuff.
Will they have pickup game or something, or just?
Yeah, it was just like 5 of us. There was me and Mark versus Mark's younger brothers and his nephew.
You played outdoor with 5 people for 2 teams?
Yeah, it was 3v2. But it was actually funny. I did I did a cool move and then I landed on it wrong and I started to fall. But when I was falling, the ball somehow ended up at my feet still. And when I was falling, and I knew my ankle was hurt at this point, but I just thought this was kind of cool. And I landed and I drugged the ball from like here on the ground and I went like this and passed it up to Mark and then I don't even know what happened after that because I was like I just stayed down.
Did you stop the game?
Yeah, I stayed on the ground. Whatever. Yeah, I was like I'm done.
Well, there were only 2 guys on one team. You guys.
Yeah.
Game's over.
That was 3v1. Yeah, really.
Yeah, 1 on 3. You know, whatever it was.
You want to stop this stuff?
Yeah, you could.
You took your medicine, right?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Yeah, that's what you got up for. Cool. Well, I would say that was successful.
Yeah,
First podcast ever.